Greetings, dear precious spirit soul, magnificent being that you are. Yes, great. Take a breath into your heart. Be right there, right where you are. My topic, the root cause of all misery. The root cause of it. All right. Misery is not natural to us. Suffering is not natural to us. Who you are, see, you have to know and experience, not know who you are by words. It's not your false ego that you've put together. We've all put together to be marketable, to be a product, to be liked, to be accepted, to survive, blah, 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 all of this stuff. That's all the mind. It's all thoughts. It's all programming. It's all constant telling you to be afraid all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. Be afraid, be afraid. And the root cause, then, of all misery is our attachment to the outer world. As if the outer world is our source. As if the outer world is life, and who we are is some animated character in somebody else's movie and somebody else's play, living with a script, with roles we're playing, but forgetting who we are, that we are the ones that empower and manifest that reality, whatever it is in our consciousness. You know that I'm a spiritual sleuth. That means I'm always looking for clues as to who I am, what's possible for me, what's the truth about me, because it's also the truth about you, not about our differences, because we have our own eternal divine self. We have all talents, all abilities. We're not in some category of, oh, I'm a Sagittarius and you're an Aries and then you're a Leo and then you got this rising. And that's all fine and good. We want to do that. And I did that. It was fine because it has some truth. But we have to be really careful of partial truths or half-truths and then set up camp there as if this is the absolute, this is a totality, there isn't anything else. Is because then, again, we're then a servant of information, to put you in a form and in a line, in a school, going in a particular direction. And when you take back your power, when you take back yourself and who you are, you also have to detach from everyone and everything that you have become attached to, as if those people, those situations are the source of your life, of your survival, of your dreams, or whatever it may be. And when you realize that, and how envy starts, and when you notice how people are being primed out there to fight each other, to hate this group and that group, and that we're all weird and strange, and it's like, just you notice what it's all perversion. And what that does is it keeps people always in a state of not good enough. And they're not good enough, they don't know enough, they're not smart enough, they're not rich enough, they're not sexy enough, they don't have enough sex, they don't have enough stuff, they don't have enough cars, they don't have enough things. And they start collecting and collecting and collecting as if that's the topmost that the person can attain. And what happens when we build our whole life on the outer world and you invest yourself in always building that outer world, one day you're not here anymore. That means you drop this material perception appearance, but you still have your subtle appearance. That means the belief that you still are that mind, that intelligence, subconscious mind, unconscious mind, conscious mind, all of these fractures and such. And so when we then are taught by psychology, we're taught by philosophy, we're taught by all these things. In fact, it's a lot of yeah, blah, 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 build on, build on, build on, when everything's really very, very simple. And that every person who is a real divine being is all-knowing, all-powerful, and everywhere present, because we are part of that reservoir, that source, what we did call God, but that word, but not, what would you may say? It's a partnership. It's because we are eternal beings. We always have been, always will be. And what happens is, with this overlay that we call the subtle body, the mind, the intelligence, the false ego, that means a false identity that we have built to participate in this reality that is really not our reality, but the reality that we have been taught, educated, religionized, forced into, to be in that world. Just like there are many holistic doctors and such who have basically left this world, not by maybe their own choice, but by someone else getting rid of them, because that there's no business in health. There's no money in health. There's no money in real happiness. There's no money in you really knowing and being who you are, fully and completely in every way, and activating your true divine self. It's still that what happens is in that consciousness, and consciousness has to do with what you believe or what you know and what you do with that. And when we take a look at what is our real divine state of being, it is that all-knowing wisdom. It is that we know all, even here or beyond here, who we are. And yet we've all been taught that you go to school and the teacher stands in front of you and tells you what you need to memorize, instead of helping you to realize how you know and who you are, and to be able to be a fully functioning divine being in every single way. So that key then is, when you look at the root source of all suffering, it has to do with your mind. It has to do with always believing that you're not enough, that you're not good enough, that you haven't attained it yet, that you have to keep motivated to make sure that you become somebody, you make something of yourself, you make your parents proud, you make your school proud, that you all of this stuff. It's just this big old movie that we're all living in, that's been programmed by movies, it's been programmed by others, it's been something going on for whoever knows how long, but there is no time. So it's always now. And when you take your power back, it's like you give up misery. Because when you're situated in yourself, the other day, okay, I realized I started to get so upset again about what's happening to people, and going, oh my gosh, if they only knew, and how easy it is to really own themselves. But they're always investing in things, stuff that you can buy at a yard sale later, cups and salt shakers and knickknacks, paddywhack, blah, 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 gotta buy this, gotta have the new electronic, gotta have the new machine, gotta have this, and then because everybody else has, you gotta have a big grill that you could cook these poor dead animals, rotting carcasses of tortured animals on, and then eat that. It's like this whole thing that goes on, and how programmed people are, whether it's sports, whether it's celebrities, whether it's movie, whether it's politicians, whether it's the game. And they're always, because on the media, it keeps you out there, because the more you're watching, the more you're looking, the more you're doing this, the less you are with yourself and the quality of your own being. So anyway, I thought, okay, come back, be right here. And, I brought myself into the now, me. And when I did, all of a sudden, there, I tapped into it, the pleasure. Because the pleasure of your own soul. And it is so wow that you go, oh my, if everybody, if they could only know and be able to do this. All they need is there, always, for their physical, for whatever it may be, for your work, for everything. But we were so taught and programmed, and then you have scaremongers in your family members and relationships and mate and everything, because they want to make sure they keep you where you need to be in order they can, suck their life out of what you've got, or you've got to get from them what you need to get, and all this. So we're always selling ourselves out. We're selling the soul. We're denying our own divine wisdom, our own compassion, our own divine self, and who we are, because, well, this is a job, and I got to put this garment on. I have to go. Who said? Well, this is the way it is. And then we're continually listening to that, and these financial advisors and these psychologists of this and that. And unless people have their spiritual connection and know who they are, everything is complicated. Everything's impossible. Everything's too difficult. Oh, I'll just let somebody else do that, and I'll just take a pill, and then you take a pill. Now you're addicted to the pill, and if you don't have that pill, the rest of your body doesn't function, and then it affects your mind. Then you got to have all these electronic devices that are going. You got to have these little mechanical things you can hold in your hand and be looking like that, and all these electronics, and you got these cell towers, and you got this and that, and then you got the whole reality that maybe isn't true at all, but you think it is, and you believe it is. And then you react, always reacting and acting and being responsible. I'll respond, and I'll respond, and I'll respond, meaning I'm living my life from responding to whatever is going on in the world that I'm actually manifesting. Isn't that stupid? Absolutely insane. So when we take our power back, and then you look at the source of the misery, we don't have to suffer. Once you know and you experience the direct pleasure of yourself and soul and the knowing, and you live in that wisdom, and you live in that place, you are transformed, because you are living a divine life, because you are life and you are divine, and that's the truth of who you are. So, my dear, feel free to email me, set up an appointment time. I'm there to serve you. You could come to retreats, you could come to workshops. I do mentoring to help you with that career and that work, and getting that out there, and to be who you are, and to align then with other divine beings, because they're there. And it's time for us all to activate our true selves, because there is only one power. There is no power for what we call evil, because it's that the cruelty that people are demonstrating, that when you live in the mind and you do what the mind says, you will become a passive-aggressive, psychopath, sociopath, cruel, that there is no beyond the beyond. Own yourself and who you are. You are the pleasure of the divine.